Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're venturing into the world of AI chatbots.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating area.
We've gathered a great collection of sources looking at, why they're suddenly everywhere, how they're built, and how businesses are actually putting them to use.
Exactly.
Our mission really is to understand what's made chatbots so, prevalent and why they're now seen as such a key technology for customer interaction and, maybe surprisingly, internal efficiency too.
And we've got some solid material to work with. Things like guides on building chatbots, Python implementation details, dialogue management strategies.
Right.
Choosing databases, using specific AI models like BERT for understanding intent, and even high-level enterprise considerations. It covers quite a range.
So from the nitty-gritty tech to the big picture strategy.
Pretty much, yeah.
And you, listening, have almost certainly interacted with a chatbot, maybe for customer support or even just asking your phone a question.
Oh, absolutely. They're hard to avoid now.
So this deep dive should help demystify what's happening behind that chat window and show you why this tech is becoming so important, both in business and increasingly in our daily lives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's unpack this. Why the sudden surge? What was the initial need, the spark for AI chatbots?
Well, our sources suggest it started with entrepreneurs recognizing a basic need. Fast, multilingual, 247 customer service. That just became table stakes.
Right, across different
Well, across the board, yeah. And then globalization and the internet just amplified that massively. Good customer service went from being a nice to have to absolutely essential for survival, really.
That makes sense. The world got smaller, expectations went up. But I bet businesses were a bit nervous at first. Could their existing teams even handle it?
That's a really key point. There was definitely some apprehension. Organizations weren't sure if their manual workforces could scale to meet this rising demand for, high-level support.
So they started looking for tech solutions.
Exactly. They needed ways to connect with customers on the channels they were using, messaging apps, social media, etc., while also, and this is important, reducing the repetitive workload on their own employees.
So it wasn't just about efficiency, but also employee well-being.
Precisely. But crucially, without sacrificing the customer experience, it was a balancing act.
Okay, and customer expectations themselves have shifted quite a bit, haven't they? Especially with younger generations.
Oh, dramatically. Millennials, Gen Z, they're tech-savvy, digitally empowered. They expect personalized support instantly throughout their entire journey with a company.
And companies sometimes miss that personalization aspect in the interaction itself.
That's what one source points out. Companies might customize products, but forget to customize the conversation. And B2B execs, they overwhelmingly agree customer expectations for personalization are way higher now.
That's a major priority, or at least it should be.
Yeah, a large majority think personalization needs to be a bigger focus. You can lose a customer with a clunky, impersonal interaction no matter how good the product is. It's the whole package. And this focus on automation, it helps employees too, right? Less drudgery.
Definitely. One source mentioned nearly 70% of workers see automation as a huge opportunity to cut down on wasted time doing repetitive tasks.
Which must be demoralizing.
Exactly. It hits productivity, morale. Chatbots can take over those basic routine questions. That frees up employees for more complex, more engaging, more meaningful work. It's a win-win.
Better customer experience, more engaged employees. And you mentioned something about systems needing to talk to each other. Integration.
Yeah, enterprises are really pushing for what's called inclusive workspaces. Basically, seamless system-to-system integration.
Getting rid of the clunky mix of manual processes and separate tech.
Exactly. Moving away from expensive, inefficient hybrid systems. Chatbots can act as that central hub, that bridge connecting various systems.
Making things smoother for everyone involved.
Right. Smoother for employees trying to help, smoother for the customer getting the help. It feeds back into that personalized experience we talked about. Okay, so the why is clear efficiency, customer demands, employee satisfaction, integration. Now, let's get into the how. How do these things actually work? What's the core shift in technology?
Well, the big shift is from graphical user interfaces, GUIs, buttons, menus you click.
The standard website interface.
Right, to conversational user interfaces, or CUIs. Instead of clicking around, you're having a conversation.
Talking or typing to the system.
Exactly. And this CUI approach lets businesses communicate across loads of different channels, website chat, messenger, WhatsApp, you name it all, powered by a single AI.
So one brain managing conversations everywhere.
Pretty much. At its core, an AI chatbot is software designed to connect a business with customers or prospects, and it tries to make that connection feel, well, more human.
Using natural language, maybe pre-written responses.
Often, yeah. Natural sounding, pre-recorded or pre-scripted conversations that can answer questions, guide users, maybe even help generate leads.
And they really are everywhere now. Websites, Facebook, WhatsApp.
That's the omni-channel network one source talks about. It's revolutionized customer communication by just being present wherever the customer might be. SMS, Google Business Messages, they're integrating everywhere.
It's about meeting people where they are. But what if the question is too tough for the bot? Something really specific or complex.
Good question. Chatbots are pretty good. They can handle a lot, maybe up to 80% of queries, some sources estimate.
That's quite high.
It is, but they're also designed to know their limits. If an issue is too complex, the AI should be smart enough to figure that out.
And then what? Hand it off.
Exactly. It assesses the intensity, the complexity, and then routes the query to the right place, a live human agent, maybe schedule a call, or transfer to a live chat. They augment humans, they don't totally replace them.
So they filter the simple stuff, escalate the hard stuff. Makes sense. Now, how do they avoid sounding like, well, robots? I saw something about random prompting.
Right. That's about making the interaction feel less repetitive instead of using the exact same phrase every time.
Like always saying, okay.
Yeah. Random prompting means having a pool of variations. So instead of just, okay, sure, it might say noted or yes, sure, or definitely, small changes, but they make the conversation feel more dynamic, more natural.
Those little linguistic details add up. Are all these chatbots built the same way, though? I hear different terms.
No, definitely not. The sources highlight two main categories, scripted chatbots and artificially intelligent chatbots.
Okay, what's the difference?
Scripted ones are, well, script-based. They follow predetermined paths. They need the user to ask questions in a very specific way. Not great for complex stuff or voice commands where phrasing varies a lot.
More rigid.
Very. Artificially intelligent chatbots, on the other hand, use natural language processing, NLP.
NLP, that lets them understand actual human language.
Exactly. NLP helps them understand the nuances, the intent behind the words, even if it's not phrased perfectly. Think of it like giving the chatbot better listening skills.
And they can learn.
Yes, that's key. They learn from interactions, improve their responses over time. That makes them way more suitable for automated support, virtual assistants on your phone, much more flexible.
So AI-powered means understanding and adapting. That's the big leap. Okay, so if a business wants one, how do they get started? Build or buy?
They've got options. One route is using AI chatbot builders. These are platforms designed to be user-friendly.
Like drag-and-drop tools.
Often, yeah. Platforms like Lumaps, Dialogflow, Microsoft Bot Framework, IBM Watson, Wit.ai, ChatFuel, ManyChat, Tidio, lots of choices. They let you create, customize, deploy without deep coding skills. Good starting point for many.
Makes it more accessible. What's the alternative?
Coding it yourself. If you have developers, especially ones skilled in, say, Python, you can build it from the ground up.
More control that way.
Much more control, high customization. There are libraries like Chatterbot or Transformers that help, but it's definitely a more hands-on technical approach, more effort, but potentially a perfect fit for unique needs.
So, flexibility versus ease of use, maybe.
Yeah.
What are the core steps, whichever path you take?
Well, first, you absolutely need to define your goals. What should this chatbot do?
Be specific.
Very. Then choose your platform or tech stack, Python being popular for custom builds. Next, design the conversation flows. How will it interact? What paths can the conversation take?
Map it out.
Right. Then, crucial step. Training. You need data. Customer support logs, common questions, FAQs.feed, relevant information.
So it learns from real examples.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And finally, test, get user feedback, see what works, what doesn't, and iterate. It's never really done.
Constantly refining based on real-world use. Makes sense. What are the big things to keep in mind to make sure it's actually successful?
User experience is number one. Natural language, quick responses, clear interface. Users need to find it easy and helpful.
If it's frustrating, they won't use it.
Exactly. Then there's data security. Super important. Encryption, privacy compliance. You're often handling sensitive info.
Got to be secure.
Absolutely. Scalability, can it handle growth? Integration, does it work on the platforms your customers use? And that commitment to ongoing improvement we just talked about. Monitor, analyze, refine.
It's a continuous process.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we mentioned NLP, but one source specifically brought up NLU, natural language understanding. What's the distinction there?
Good question. NLU is really a subfield of AI, and it's focused specifically on understanding the meaning and intent behind the language, not just processing the words.
Or deeper than just recognizing keywords.
Much deeper. It's critical for truly intelligent chatbots. NLU allows the bot to grasp what the user really wants and pull out the key pieces of information, even from messy conversational language. It's about comprehension.
Understanding the intent, and that ties into intent classification.
Yeah.
Right? Using tools like BERT.
Precisely. Intent classification is a core task figuring out why the user is contacting the bot. And models like BERT, that stands for bidirectional encoder representations from transformers.
Sounds complex.
It is, under the hood. But think of BERT as a very advanced ear for the chatbot. It helps it understand the meaning, the intent, much more accurately, even if the input isn't perfect or the training data was a bit skewed. It gets the nuance.
So better understanding leads to better responses.
Mm-hmm.
And what about managing the back and forth of the conversation itself? Keeping it on track?
That's where dialogue management comes in. It's like the conversation's traffic controller.
Okay.
It manages the state, where are we in the conversation? It maintains context, what did we talk about earlier? And it handles passing information between the NLU part, understanding, and the NLG part, natural language generation, which crafts the bot's reply.
So it keeps the conversation coherent and flowing logically.
Exactly. It's the conductor making sure all the parts work together smoothly.
Okay, we've got a good handle on the how. Let's look at some real-world examples. Our sources mentioned a few big names and interesting cases.
Yeah, these really show the impact. Google Assistant, for instance, started as Google. Yeah. Now it's this omni-channel experience baked into Android, letting you use voice across everything.
Very integrated.
And Amazon's Alexa, of course, built into Echo devices, available as an app. It does so much. Playing music, reminders, smart home control. These are prime examples of conversational AI in daily life.
Household names now. What about businesses using them in more specific ways?
Spotify is a great one. They use a Facebook Messenger bot really effectively. You can search and share music easily, get recommendations based on your mood or listening history.
Enhancing the user experience.
Totally. Their focus is customer satisfaction and keeping users engaged. Then there's Finesta, an Indian B2B manufacturer. They used a WhatsApp bot for customer support and saw a 30% reduction in customer complaints. That's huge. It shows the tangible business impact these can have on efficiency and customer happiness.
A 30% drop is really significant. And there was a beauty brand too, Sephora.
Right. Sephora uses AI chatbots like personal beauty assistants. They offer makeup tutorials, product recommendations tailored to you, and they even collect customer reviews through the bot.
So service, personalization, and gathering feedback. Clever.
Very. It shows how versatile they can be, going way beyond just answering basic FAQs.
It's clear they're being used in really diverse and impactful ways. Now, shifting gears slightly, if you're building one of these, choosing the right database is apparently quite critical. Sounds technical, but fundamental.
Absolutely fundamental. The database choice depends heavily on the kind of data your AI needs.
Like what?
Well, for structured data user profiles, transaction logs, stuff like that, traditional SQL databases like PostgreSQL or MySQL might work fine.
The familiar spreadsheets, basically.
Kind of, yeah. But for unstructured data text from conversations, images, and especially vectors, which are numerical representations AI uses to understand meaning.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah, for that stuff, NoSQL databases like MongoDB or Firebase are often better, or even specialized vector databases, ChromaDB, Weaviate, Pinecone, Qdrant.
Vector databases, they're specifically for this AI meaning representation stuff.
Exactly. They're really important for things like knowledge retrieval and advanced AI, like RAG systems. And for real-time stuff, like the current chat history, you might use NoSQL or even faster in-memory databases like Redis.
Lots of options. What's the advice for someone just starting out, maybe building a simpler bot?
For straightforward projects, MongoDB often gets recommended. It's flexible, relatively easy to pick up.
Good for beginners.
Yeah. If your chatbot needs memory, remembering past interactions, maybe MongoDB combined with Redis for quick caching could work well.
And for that ARG stuff, retrieval augmented generation.
For a RAG where the AI needs to pull answers from a big knowledge base, starting with something like MongoDB Vector Search, ChromaDB, or Weaviate makes sense. They're built for that kind of vector similarity search.
Got it. So what are the key things to weigh up when choosing?
Ease of use is huge, especially for beginners. Good documentation, easy setup. Scalability is another big one. Can it grow with your application? NoSQL and vector DBs generally scale more easily than SQL.
Handles more users, more data.
Right. And finally, integration. Does it play nice with your AI tools? LangChain, your LLMs. You need the database to connect smoothly with the rest of your tech stack. Find the right tool for your specific job.
Match the database to the AI's needs and your toolkit. Makes sense. Okay, let's look ahead. Where are chatbots going? What should businesses be thinking about long term?
Well, one source talks about this idea of the post-app era.
Meaning apps are dead.
Not quite dead, but maybe less central. The idea is users interact across lots of platforms now, messaging, social media, third-party integrations, and native apps. It's more interconnected.
A more fragmented landscape?
Or maybe a more unified one, depending on how you look at it. Chatbots fit perfectly here because they can provide that instant conversational interface across many of those channels.
They bridge the gaps.
Exactly. So enterprises are increasingly investing in chatbot solutions. Sometimes instead of pouring all resources into just building another standalone app, it's about being present everywhere the user is.
Okay, so strategically, businesses need to decide. Do we replace old apps with bots or add bots to existing apps?
That's a key decision. Replace legacy systems or enhance them with chatbot integrations. Both have pros and cons depending on the situation. And a big factor is, can the chatbot solution integrate easily with the current enterprise systems? Smooth integration reduces risk and speeds things up.
Compatibility is crucial.
Yeah.
And the bots themselves are getting smarter.
Definitely. We're seeing more contextual intent, mapping the bot, understands what you're doing right now, and personalizes the chat accordingly. Makes it feel much more intuitive, more human.
Adapting in real time.
Yeah. And multilingual support is becoming essential for global reach. Not just basic translation, but understanding cultural nuances and maintaining natural conversation flow in different languages.
Truly understanding, not just swapping words.
Right. The aim is more intelligent, adaptable, conversational partners.
And once it's built and running, what about keeping it going? Management.
Oh, absolutely critical. Post-creation management is vital. Security is huge. Data privacy, encryption, protecting against phishing.
Can't neglect security.
Never. And ongoing monitoring, tracking performance, identifying issues, finding areas for improvement, making sure it stays effective and meets user needs as they evolve.
So it stays relevant.
And ultimately, like one source really stresses, the key is to start with a clear business need. What specific problem are you trying to solve? What tasks do you want to automate or optimize? Don't just build a bot because it seems cool.
Have a purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try and boil this down. What are the main takeaways from this deep dive?
Well, I think it's clear AI chatbots have come a long way from simple scripts. They're now pretty sophisticated AI tools.
Driven by real needs.
Driven by the need for better, faster customer service, for boosting employee efficiency, and delivering those personalized experiences everyone expects now.
And building them takes work.
Yeah, it involves careful planning, choosing the right tech, including that database piece training with good data, and then that crucial ongoing management and improvement. They're really becoming a core part of how businesses function and connect.
Right. So here's a thought to leave everyone with. As this AI gets even better, how is this explosion of sophisticated chatbots going to fundamentally reshape how we interact with technology, with services, with everything digital?
That's the big question.
What new possibilities open up when these virtual assistants are even more seamlessly woven into our work and personal lives? And maybe the trickiest part, how do we strike that balance between leveraging all this powerful automation and preserving the essential human touch in our interactions?
So finding that balance.
Yeah.
That's definitely something to think about.
Absolutely. We've really just scratched the surface today.
There's so much more depth here.
So if you're interested in digging deeper into specific chatbot tech, the different platforms, or finding more real-world examples, the sources we touched on today are a fantastic starting point for your own exploration.